Elizabeth Chudleigh, from scandalous Duchess to Catherine the Great's distinguished guest. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Memorandum, Stories Worth Remembering. In this episode, we're diving into the extraordinary life of a woman whose journey could be mistaken for a historical novel, filled with love, scandal, resilience, and encounters with some of the most powerful rulers in Europe. Her name? Elizabeth Chudleigh. Known in her time as the Duchess of Kingston, she wasn't just another court beauty. She was a woman bold enough to challenge the strict rules of 18th century society in a world where men held almost all the power. Her story carries lessons that still matter for us today. Elizabeth Chudleigh was born in 1720 into a modest English family. She was clever, charming, and strikingly beautiful. These qualities opened the door to the royal court of King George II, where she served as maid of honor to the Queen. But here's the thing. Women of the 18th century had very few choices. Most were expected to marry for money, power, or stability. Elizabeth, she refused to be boxed in. She wanted to write her own story, even if that meant risking society's disapproval. In 1744, Elizabeth secretly married Augustus Hervey, a daring young naval officer. The marriage quickly soured. The two drifted apart, but they never officially divorced. Years later, Elizabeth entered a relationship with the Duke of Kingston. Their marriage elevated her to the rank of Duchess. But then came the bombshell. Since her first marriage had never been annulled, Elizabeth was accused of bigamy, having two husbands at once. In 1776, her trial became one of the biggest scandals in British history. This was no private matter. It was a public spectacle, with the entire nation watching as the courts and society at large passed judgment on her. But Elizabeth didn't crumble under the weight of scandal. She fought back with charm, wit, and powerful social connections. Eventually, she left England behind and set out across Europe. In Italy, France, and finally, Russia. She reinvented herself, living a lavish life, mingling with artists, aristocrats, and rulers. Most famously, she became a special guest at the court of Catherine the Great of Russia. There, she formed connections not only with the empress herself, but also with Prince Potemkin, Catherine's brilliant military and political advisor. These encounters proved that Elizabeth was far more than a scandalous duchess. She was a woman capable of influencing conversations and forging ties with Europe's most powerful figures. Elizabeth used her beauty to open doors, yes, but it was her intelligence and resilience that allowed her to stand tall in a man's world. Her scandal wasn't the end of her life story. It was the beginning of a new chapter. Instead of hiding, she traveled, adapted, and placed herself in the center of Europe's grand stage. Even though she was branded notorious, Elizabeth showed that women could carve out their own space in history, even when the odds were stacked against them. Her journey reflects something timeless. On a personal level, she shows us that failure doesn't have to define us. On a social level, her life sparked questions for women in England. Should we really let society dictate our destiny? And on a global level, she became a living example of how someone could fall, rise, and still claim influence on the world stage. So here's the takeaway, friends. If we fail today, that failure might just be the lesson that pushes us towards something greater tomorrow. Elizabeth Chudleigh reminds us that scandal, mistakes, or setbacks don't end our story. They can fuel the courage to begin again. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more inspiring short documentaries where history meets motivation. Because history isn't just about the past. It's a mirror that teaches us how to live today. This is Nefertiti, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye for now.